Hi, hello, and welcome into my reselling channel, Flippin' Hippos. I'm Star. Today we're going to talk about how to use List Perfectly as a tool to delist and relist items on several different platforms. Now, whether you should be delisting, relisting is an entirely different conversation for another video, but assuming that you agree with me that you should be delisting and relisting old stale items, I'm going to show you how to use List Perfectly to do that today. If you want me to go more into depth on why you should be delisting, relisting, and why I believe it, and how through the years other people in the industry have thought about it, let me know and I'll be happy to do it. I might be a little salty because I was told I was wrong for many years and then suddenly everyone agreed with me. But here we are. Now that everyone agrees with me, you can delist, relist if you have List Perfectly very easily with like the click of one button. So we'll just assume that everyone is delisting, relisting like you should be. And I'm going to show you how. Now, the common misconception is that List Perfectly is just a cross-listing tool. And if you've ever listened to anything I have to say, it's much, much more than that. It's a background remover. It's an AI listing creator. It's a inventory management system. It's an accountant. It is a delister. It does so many things that people aren't aware of. Like last week, I showed you how you can use Google image search through your listings on List Perfectly. So today I wanted to show you this, because if you are delisting, relisting, and you are a List Perfectly user, you should know how to do this. If you're not a List Perfectly user, you should consider trying it 30% off your first month with code FlippinHippos. Okay, the first thing is first, you want to make sure you're on old listings. So I do have a cheat sheet in here on when items are stale, according to the industry experts. On Poshmark, a listing is considered stale at 60 days. Mercari is 30 days. eBay is 6 to 9 months. So if you're going to be delisting your listing on eBay, you want to make sure it's at least 6 months old. Etsy, I don't have any information for, but I don't delist, relist there because they charge you 20 cents a listing. But I do update them, and you can use List Perfectly for that, and we're going to talk about that today as well. Hopefully I chose something that's on Etsy. I did not. All right, let me show you this, and then we'll find something on Etsy, and I'll show you that separate. Okay, so you want to make sure you're in a stale listing, and you don't want to just end it and relist it. You want to change something. You want to optimize something. List Perfectly has this new feature called catalog only photos. I usually go through and do that. My older listings don't have that turned on. And what this does is it keeps this photo from cross-posting over to platforms when I cross-post the listing, but it just stays here in my inventory on eBay, on List Perfectly. So you can see I have this photo of the item on a scale. I have the weight and the location there for my knowledge. I don't need that on any other platform. I just need it here in my inventory management. So I use that catalog only photos to turn that off, and it won't cross-post. It just saves you some extra clicks later. And then I'll usually play with the photos. Maybe I'll change, one out. Maybe I will play with the title. Black Magic Lift full figure bra. I probably want to put this more up front this time just to have something different. I think that's a little too wordy. We'll change that. I double check my price, make sure I like it. I usually do. And then I save and close once I've done any editing I want to do. Then your action button, the 2 arrows in the green square here on the top left of the 2 columns. You want to click that. And I'm going to show you one platform at a time. So first we're going to select eBay and delist, relist. Now, I do 20 delisting, relistings every single morning, and I do them in batches of 10. For the purpose of this video, I'm showing you one item, but I usually do 10 at a time. And I do one platform at a time. So I do 10 on eBay, 10 on Poshmark, 10 on Mercari, etc. And then I do the other 10. But I do 20 of these a day. So it's going to confirm with you that this is what you want to do. You say, okay. Now, what List Perfectly does is it takes your old listing on eBay, it ends it, and then it does a sell similar. So all the information that you already had filled in on your old listing, your item specifics, your title, your photos, your price, everything is already there. You don't have to do anything. This is the exact same listing that you had before. So it ends your old one, sell similar from that, and it's going to be the same exact listing that I had before with everything all filled in for me. So all I have to do is list it. It's done. So I can go through 10 of these, 20 of these relatively quickly. Poshmark is a little bit different because it's Poshmark. There's going to be a couple seconds while it loads in, and then it's usually puts the price up front. If you let it load all the way, we're going to give it a second and see if it'll do that. Sometimes the price pops up right here on Poshmark. There it goes. And so you just have to figure out what you want for your price, but everything else already be filled in. So just like on eBay, you click that price and you can scroll down and list. I'm not sure my price was right though. I'm going to put it in at 40. And then it's going to ask you, this listing is 60 plus days old. You can either create a new copy or replace the original with an updated version. Don't worry, your likes will transfer over. So there's several things I need to talk about here to educate. First off, I told you Poshmark's stale listings are 60 days. And write this down. Posh is 60 days, Mercari is 30, eBay is 6 to 9 months. Now, Poshmark has started really cracking down on folks who were ending and relisting items that were new or not stale. So if it's newer than 60 days old, Poshmark does not want you delisting, relisting it, and you can get hit with a suspension for this. This has been an issue with Poshmark. What I want to tell you real quick, when you're on List Perfectly on this screen and you click Poshmark, delist, relist, if your item is not 60 days old, List Perfectly first comes up with the warning right here and tells you. And it's that it's not recommended to do this. Do you still want to proceed? So there's like a fail safe that List Perfectly has built in to stop you from doing something that could affect your account health. But once you're here, if one sneaks through the cracks, this is going to tell you it's not old enough. Now, publish a copy or replace original. For everything that is holy, choose replace original. I know there are other resellers who will tell you to publish a copy, but here's the thing. Last year, I found a duplicate listing in my Poshmark, which led to some research. And it led to me finding hundreds of duplicate listings in my closet. In fact, it took me 12 hours to go through my entire Posh Closet that day and duplicate and delete duplicates. I had all kinds of duplicates, double listed items. My closet was a mess, and I only saw, happened upon it, just because I actually saw the one listing that was doubled. Had I not seen that, I don't know how long I would have just blah, blah, blah. But I'm glad I noticed it because I could have ran into all kinds of trouble. And it, again, took me 12 hours to go through. And now I have a big closet, like 6,000 items. But I still had to go through all of them and delete all of the duplicates. And ever since then, I do not say publish copy. I really feel like sometimes it literally leaves the old listing and creates the new one. So now I say replace original, and I haven't run into any duplicate listings since. Mercari, it's just going to end that old listing and pull the new one right up. And everything's going to be filled in for you. I do have to change my price when it pops in because I do list differently on different platforms. And Mercari sometimes makes you double click to put it in. These platforms, I'm telling you, they all have their own idiosyncrasies and we learn them, right? And that is how simple it is. I love eBay's because it everything's there. It just fills everything in for you and you can just relist it right away. So that's how to do that. But I want to find an Etsy listing just to quickly show you. Here's one. Nope, that's sold. Let's use List Perfectly correctly and say I want items that are on Etsy and sort my catalog. Okay. So again, you click the 2 arrows in the green square. You would check Etsy and you would check update. And when I'm doing the delisting, relisting in the morning and I'm changing all the things in the listing and I'm updating it, I want to update all the listing details. However, if you ever run into a problem where you have to change something in the title, the SKU, the price, quantity, description, condition, images, or SKU, all your choices here, you can check mark that, and that's the only thing that'll touch. So if you have a listing all filled out already, and you say title, it's only going to change the title. You say price and title, it's only going to change those two. You can mix and match here and only change what you want, or you can change them all. I use that often when I'm doing inventory audits and I change SKU numbers. I use it if I catch a typo in a title and I just want to change that. And then you just kind of go down and make sure everything's good to go. Again, I use different pricing on different platforms. Etsy doesn't like my SKUs because I have number signs in there and pound signs. All right. So we have effectively gone over how to delist, relist on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and how to update on Etsy. And I showed you the catalog only new tool where you can keep photographs in your catalog only. We talked about why you should not copy the listing on Poshmark. And I showed you the update tool on List Perfectly. So there was a lot in this video. If you want a breakdown of anything on its own, you want to see something again, you want me to do a couple more screen shares or go further into this tutorial, anything you want, let me know. It's Tutorial Tuesday, and I like to do tutorials. I like to teach. So if there's anything you want to see me show you how to do, you want to see a tutorial, you want to see anything in here again, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to do it. But hopefully, if you are already using List Perfectly, this helps you to learn how to better use it if you're not utilizing all of these tools yet. And if you aren't using List Perfectly, are you even a reseller? Try it 30% off your first month with code flippinhippos. It's the best thing I've ever done for my business, and I use it every day. All right. Hit the subscribe button, please, and the like button to feed some hungry hippos. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.